I got y'all with the thumbnail, didn't I? I got you, right? All right, well, since you're here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you're new to the BS gang, go ahead and join our little family or whatever, right? Huge shout outs to four of my members right now at this moment when I'm recording. It's like 2 o'clock in the morning, right? So as of the recording, I have four members: Vigilant, Aria, Charles Cow, and I believe it is Alice Grand Cross, right? Alice Grand Cross. Shout out to all four of my members. But let's go ahead and let's get into this tier list. Now, my other video, people might have mistook, right? They might have mistook my my ratings. So when I say tier list, right? When I say tier list for the typings, it is literally just a tier list for said typings. It is not just a purely PvP or purely PvE. It is a mixture of everything, right? So when you pull this said unit or get this said unit, right? This is where I place them in terms of the tier. So now that we got that out of the way, let's go ahead and let's break down the characters, right? All right, so we'll start at the cream of the crop, right? So these five are what I consider to be the blue typing's broken / top tier units, right? So blue typing is loved in the game. They love putting out blue units. I don't know why, but they just love putting out blue units. We have Charmiel, Ladociel, Droll, Small Wings King, and Goddess Elizabeth. So these five units are broken / top tier in my opinion, right? Tarmiel is a defensive juggernaut. He can just be, a tank in most areas of content in the game. If you pull him, he's definitely a good pull, right? Same thing goes for Ladociel. Although Ladociel, right, he is a wailing unit, but free-to-play players, they actually can build him, right? There's this, stigma around him that you need money to build him. It is easier when you have the cash, don't get me wrong, right? But you actually can build him if you're free to play. It's really not that hard. You just need to know how to build. You need to learn how to save your resources, but it's really not that difficult in my honest opinion, even if you're free to play. Right? It might take some time, but in due time he is still a very very good unit to pull, right? Blue Droll, same thing. He is a coin shop unit. If you have Blue Droll, I'm telling you right now, he is going to be dominant. Like, he's going to be prominent pretty much from now until basically a new meta happens. But in the future, right, when the one comes out, he's still going to be, he might not be SS tier, but he'll definitely be S tier, right? Not only does he help give you more defensive viability with his passive in PvE, he can petrify, he can taunt, and he also increases all allies attack by 3% per buff on him. And since his taunt gives him 3 right there, that's 9%. And in PvP, if you get 3 resistance buff, that's an extra 9%. So you're getting pretty much 18% attack to all allies and yourself included in that, right? So very, very good passive. So he is right now, in my opinion, SS tier, but he'll probably drop when I do this again, like in the summertime. Now, Festival King, right? Small Wings King, he is top tier when you pull him. Now, unfortunately, he is like sort of the debuff, like pushing the debuff meta. He's not bad though, right? He's not bad at all. I think honestly, he is probably maybe the the fourth. Well, I think he might be the worst festival unit, but he is still a festival unit, right? Don't get me wrong. Just because I say that doesn't mean that makes him terrible or makes him bad, right? Even without Hendrickson, he can still be used in PvE content, right? He can still be used because he has a poison debuff, and when you get that off, you can use his release card, which is a skill 1, and you can still do really, really good damage. Not to mention, I think he has the highest CC in the game. I believe Blue Festival King actually does have the highest CC in the game, so keep that in mind as well. So again, pull him, not a bad pull either. Yeah. All right, S tier, right? So we got Blue Lilia, Blue Zeldris, Blue Arthur, and then Blue King. Now, Blue King did move down initially from when I made this like 3 months ago, right? He was SS tier. A lot of people actually don't run King as much as you think anymore. Most of the time you just see Goddess Elizabeth teams, but not many people, even not fighting Goddess Elizabeth, right? They don't run Blue King as often anymore. I don't know why. I think honestly he kind of did get a little pushed out, but not to mention he's free to play. He's also still very, very good in PvE content too. So getting him just like in general is very, very good. Um, a Blue Lilia, she's exclusive to the OC banner, but sometimes she does come out on different types of banners. You just gotta look around or whatever, right? Or whenever they drop her, she'll be available. But she's really, really, really good too. She has ult depletion, right? AoE ult depletion. She can heal. She can cleanse. Her ultimate, deranks skills and then deranks ultimate move gauge as well. Her passive helps out the Pierce team immensely. I would say she is a more she can, what's the word I'm looking for, she's more like she's able to be ran on more teams, right, than most of the other units that are set to a team, right? So for example, Pierce comp, Blue Demon Meliodas and like Rugal are pretty much set to that specific team. Blue Lilia really isn't. She can be ran with different units, right? Her passive just helps them out to deal a little bit of additional damage, right? So she's very, very good. Blue Zeldris, same thing. Unfortunately, Blue Zeldris does need a little help to crit, but in PvE, you don't have to worry about, another player having a counter to him, because in extreme, like Red Demon, he's very good when you use Blue Easton with him and then have another unit like maybe Green Gal or, Gother, right? To increase his crit chance and crit damage, he's gonna be dealing out massive amounts of damage. So he's very, very good. You just need a team, but again, still a very, very good pool. Blue Arthur, I would honestly say Blue Arthur might be above Zeldris because Blue Arthur can crit more often than he can. He also has attack disable, which is very, very clutch. He has Sever on his ultimate. Even though Zeldris does have Spike on his ultimate, I think Sever works a lot better than Spike for Arthur, because Arthur's crit, I believe it's crit damage, is increased by 10% per ultimate move gauge. So I think he is better than Zeldris in certain scenarios. Or I think he's better than Zeldris in certain scenarios, right? So I think he would be above him, but this is pretty much like, pretty much I think accurate. A tier. So basically the amazing / useful for most content. Now this is where we get into the more controversial side, right? So amazing / useful for most content is this A tier right here. I think this works pretty well for these units, right? They are pretty good units. Maybe you could move like maybe some of these units down. I don't know. Maybe you could even move Easton up here, but I think she's fine where she's at because most of the time you don't see her in PvP anyway. So the majority of where she is ran is Guild Boss, but she can also be used for different, like, you can use her for you could use it for Training Cave, Tower Trials, different, certain events in the game. So again, that's why I put her in useful for most content, because she is a very good support type unit. She really, really is, right? I just don't know if I would put her all like up here with the SS and S tier nowadays, because of the fact that she just, like, other than supporting, she doesn't really, do much else in like certain, like PvP or something like that. But in most of the other content in the game, she does do pretty well. Same thing with any of these units right here. Blue Ellie Hawk actually is pretty good in PvP. Like, I'm not even gonna lie, she actually is pretty good in PvP. I did undersell her back then, but she's very good. I think so. Her Solidify is crazy. It is very crazy. And then these two can work together very well as, like, two. Mai has a depletion, right? An ult depletion card, which is great. Jericho's really, really good. She has Explosion, and then she also can reduce the HP related stats on one enemy, which is crazy, crazy good actually. So there you go. And then like Blue Demon Meliodas is pretty self-explanatory. He's pretty good for PvP when you run him on a Pierce team. He can be used for farming. So he himself is pretty self-explanatory. You guys know where he stands, right? Now the B tier units. Good / useful for some content. Okay. So, this right here, the blue tier, some of these C units could potentially be up here as well. I I was having an internal struggle whether or not to put this blue bond up here, but I honestly don't think so. I think he is as C tier, right? These B tier units, right? Blue Diane is useful for some content. I did like one when the game first released, I did once upon a time use her a lot. I used her for story mode, I used her for PvP. I really did. But now that the meta shifted crazily, she's fallen off a little bit. I'm not gonna lie, but she does have her uses. She can attack disable. She has rupture. Her ultimate hits really hard. She has a good passive skill. So again, she's not completely outdated yet. She's aging, but not as fast as you would think, right? Blue Melascula, I think she's fine where she's at too. She isn't as good as the red one in all honesty, but I think her role is more so to be somewhat of a DPS. I think they wanted her to be more of like a DPS rather than the red one, but the problem with that is her damage output isn't the best, right? Her damage output isn't the best. Her second skill, which is a detonate skill, AoE detonate, can be good. However, the opponents have to have a lot of ultimate move gauge, which can be a detriment to her. So yeah, but I do think she's still good and she can be used as some content. If you wanted to put her in C tier, I could see it, right? I could really see her being in C tier, but I think she's okay right here, right? She might fall off next time I do this, but you never know. Now, Slater, I was actually gonna put in C tier, but I forgot Sever got a buff. A 3 times buff to Sever actually helped him out very, very much. He's gonna, get more of a chance to crit, first off, right? He, if you build him up with those crits, he'll deal a massive amount of damage. His ultimate is very, very good. I think Slater actually being in B tier makes sense. Plus, he is useful sometimes, right? More so in like the red demon rather than anything else, but I think he is useful still. But next time I do this, he definitely probably will fall off. I'm not gonna lie. And then Bellion. Now, Bellion is a unit I don't think a lot of people like just give him credit. He isn't like great. He's decent though. I would actually say he's decent. He has an AoE shatter. He also has an ult gauge removal card, which is very, very useful. Now, the thing that hurts him is I don't know why they didn't give him an extra effect on his ultimate. Even if it was like charge or something on his ultimate, he would have been like better. But they just left it as a flat out percentage multiplier. They didn't give him like spike, shatter. They didn't give him charge or anything on his ultimate. They literally just made it a flat out multiplier. So that's what I think hurts him the most. Had he had charge though, AoE charge, he would have been just like Blue Droll, hitting really, really hard. So I honestly think he would have been a little better, but not by a lot. And his passive can be good. He basically just heals for I believe it's like 30% or something like that when he removes a debuff off himself. So I guess like if you heal or cleanse a debuff off of him, so it'd be good. But yeah, he definitely probably will move down, but I don't know. I think a lot of people don't give him credit. I might actually work on him. I might. It depends, right? But we'll see what happens. And then C tier is just like they're not not much use in the game, but they can be helpful. And what I mean by that is she's pretty much just used for bait. She does have a pretty decent kit where she disables debuff skills and then she removes buffs off one enemy, grants debuff immunity, etc., etc. But most of the time she's used for bait. Gallon, okay. When he gets his buffs, I think he actually will move up, but for now, he's not really used that much, but he can be helpful sometimes if you don't have too many good blues, right? Same thing with blue Gother. I think blue Gother actually can be useful, but you're just not going to see much play from him. You're just not. Mikasa moved down a lot. Originally, I had her at A tier in my last time I did a tier list for the blue typing, she was at A tier. Now she's at C. The problem with that is just she doesn't honestly do much. She's more so for long battles. And nowadays units don't go for long battles. They go for the broke, man. It's either they do massive damage or they're doing stuff to stall out to get their ultimate and then to one shot the team. Like it's just she is literally meant for long battles, and plus the only way her passive procs is if her enemies get or if her allies get hit, and that kind of hurts her a little bit, I'm not gonna lie. Plus her secret technique damage is weak, so yeah, I mean she did move down a lot, but what are you gonna do? That's her. She just aged poorly in my opinion. And then both of these bonds are like pretty much only used for Red Demon. Helbram, Helbram sort of like Blue King, except Blue King is better because one, he has higher CC, he has much more outfits to increase his CC, he has Petrify, right? He has AoE, what is it, Shatter on his ultimate, and he just pretty much has King's Cleanse card. That's it. He has an AoE lifesteal, but that's weak, and then his ultimate does cancel buff and stances, but again, it's pretty weak, and you're not really gonna, get much from it. So he can be useful, right? But I just don't think he's that great. Matrona, same thing. Matrona can disable attack skills. She also removes debuffs, which makes her really good in certain areas of content. And she also buffs Droll, right? Any of the giants, she buffs them by a lot, right? I think it's like 25% basic stats. So that's really, really good, right? Her passive is amazing. But other than that, nothing really to write home about. And then you're never going to use these units. You're literally never going to touch these units, right? When is the last time you heard someone say I use Blue Hendrickson? I can't, right? If you're a serious veteran player, you literally probably won't ever use him unless for some reason the meta changes or something. But I mean, no. And then same thing goes for Merlin. You're pretty much never gonna use her. Maybe final boss Gother, right? That's it. And Rimuru, yeah, you're pretty much never gonna use Rimuru. Although maybe you could move Rimuru up to C. He does have a Rupture card. He also has I don't think it's a taunt card, right? Hold on, let me actually check really quickly. I don't think it's a taunt. I think it's just what is it? It's some stance. Okay, he can't be debuffed, and then he heals 20%, 30%, and 50%. So okay, yeah, maybe you could move him up actually. But it's really hard to say because no one uses Rimuru. For the sake of it, I'll move him up to C, but no one really uses him. Same thing for Diane. Diane just pretty much is never gonna be used. Maybe in Training Cave. Yeah, maybe you could use Rimuru in Training Cave, right? Both these units in Training Cave, but other than that, like no, you're not really gonna use them much. And then Blue Fraudrin as well to troll pretty much, but even she might be a little better than Fraudrin because she fully heals. He doesn't. She fully heals, I believe she removes debuffs and puts your ultimate gauge by 2, right? When she dies, he just removes debuffs and puts it at max. I actually would prefer her fully heal and remove debuff over his ult gauge. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie right now, right? And then she also heals and grants debuff. I mean, I just think she's a little better than Fraudrin in my personal opinion. Fraudrin does have like the reflect, but it's not even that strong. Like it's really not that strong. So yeah. And then these units are just straight up garbage. You're literally no, just no. I think I did a showcase on him. Even when like the top tier units weren't out, he just did poorly. He did poorly, man. Yeah, like you're never gonna use these units. Maybe her on the sub slot for what is it, Red Demon? I think, right? Yeah, I think she's Red Demon. She gets the material boost or whatever, something like that. Listen, Millium is just garbage. She's just trash. And then for some reason, I couldn't get Cardinal Helbram, but he is trash. So let's put one of these Drolls that are here for some reason. This is Cardinal Helbram, by the way. This is Cardinal Helbram. So yeah. But yeah, man, that's it for this list. Again, When I say tier list for typings, right, this is pretty much just the blue tier list. It's not, it's just the typing for the blues. It's not like a solely PvP or solely PvE. It's just where the blue units stand, right? Where they stand in the game, right? So please keep that into consideration, because I think a lot of people in my last video just completely just took that out of, just took it out of context or whatever, right? But that's gonna be it for this video, guys. That's gonna be it. Hopefully you enjoyed. I am gonna do the red tier list probably next. So again, let me know if you guys, agree, disagree. You guys would definitely let me know in the comments below. I think I even got some shade from a from a YouTuber, but it's okay. It's all right. We're here to have fun. But yeah, that's gonna be it, guys. As always, I will see you in the next video.